I'm very pleased today to have with us Mr. Christian Delaire, who is the Chief Executive Officer of AEW Europe. Welcome to MIPIM.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's an early 9:30 in the morning.
It's an early start.
Yeah.
So look, let's just talk a bit about AEW Europe. What are you doing here at MIPIM? What are your primary objectives here in these next days?
AEW Europe, basically, it's an asset management company, so we manage funds and separate accounts on behalf of clients. It's 18.5 billion euro of assets all across Europe, so that's the general business. What we are doing here in MIPIM is primarily meet with clients, existing clients and potential clients, and also meet with people like you and communicate on what we do.
What are you seeing across Europe today? Where are the main flows of capital happening from an investment point of view in your business?
The two kinds of investors we have in AEW Europe are mainly, first of all, institutional clients. We have a retail business in France, but it's mainly institutional. The two categories of clients we have are either core investors or opportunistic investors. Core investors will look at three main markets, which are France, the UK and Germany, which are in fact the three biggest markets and the most stable markets over the last years. And we look at mainstream assets like offices, retail and logistics. Generally speaking, if you look over the last 10 years, it has not changed that much. So there are big markets, huge markets, the ones I've mentioned, Germany, the UK and France. Some markets have a little bit declined in terms of client interest, and I would mention here Italy and Spain. But basically it's not a big shift. So it's really a question of focusing on big and secure markets for core strategies and developing around these core strategies more opportunistic and satellite strategies.
How important do you think, and if you're talking about this from just purely an investment point of view, how important is sustainability in building design when we're talking about new buildings and potentially even retrofitting older buildings? How important is it from an investment point of view? And is there an issue of where, as it's been put, we're almost too broke for sustainability? Does that sort of play a part in your thinking?
When you manage real estate assets, there are two main risks you have to manage. The first one is liquidity. So the moment you buy, are you sure you're going to exit and in good conditions? And also the risk of obsolescence, the technical risk. In fact, you buy something which is great the day you buy it, and in 8 to 10 years, will this asset be still the kind of asset clients want and tenants want, or this kind of stuff. And if you want to manage this risk properly, you have to look at very different things, but one thing you need to look at very carefully is technical and environmental aspects. So call it sustainability, and it's something that we do care at AEW, because it's something that clients care about, even in very dislocated markets. So that's even more important, and that's important for tenants, because if you want to rent your building, if you look at sustainability issues, it's a way to make sure that your tenant will like it from his own sustainability rules, but also in terms of occupancy cost. And I strongly believe in terms of exit for the investor, because the more technically up to date and the more sustainable, the better.
So even from a hardcore financial perspective, sustainability makes a lot of sense, certainly for new developments and even for existing properties.
Like many things in life, it's a question of, my preferred rule is the 80-20, so you don't do everything you should do, but you make sure that the 80% you do provide you the 90 to 95 performance you should get. And if you apply this rule to many things, but including sustainability policy, you can make money even in very difficult situations such as ours.
If you were to look forward the next number of years, are you seeing some major trends emerge that you think is going to shape your business and to shape the wider sort of property investment business?
Oh yeah, I think there are two big trends, and sometimes they are linked one to another. The first one is, I'm talking about the global asset management business and the real estate asset management business. The first one is regulation. It's heavily regulated. It's more and more regulated, and some have tried to fight against that, but that's the way it is. So we need to live with it, and it's regulation for the management of the building, and sustainability is part of this. It's regulation for the funds that are managed. It's regulation for the fund managers managing the funds. It's regulation for the bankers, regulation for the insurance companies. So it's a regulation for everybody. So the rule of the game is to understand and try to optimize around the regulation. But that's a big element of the market today. It has not had a too negative impact on investment globally, except for the bank regulation, which did have an impact on the capacity that banks have to finance real estate. So, but at the same time, it has created opportunities. And if you look at the number of people wanting to develop into debt management, that's also something interesting. So, and this, both the regulation and the economic situation of the banks themselves have created this opportunity, and that's something that we are currently contemplating, by the way, operating in the debt fund management business. The second element, the second big trend of the market currently is concentration. And the big deals you have seen between ING and CBRE, the big thing currently happening with the REIF business, I think there will be more to come. Because you need in this market, you need to be big to be performing. So the result of all that will be a clear segmentation between huge investors and global investors like us, because I told you earlier that we were focusing on Europe, but we have a sister company operating in the US and Asia. So globally, we are a global player and a big player, managing something like 35 billion euros in the world. And I think these big players will survive and get bigger. And on the other extreme of the spectrum, of the asset management spectrum, you will have small boutiques focusing on very specialized strategies. But the people in the middle, I'm not sure they have a great future. So that's the second trend, so regulation and concentration.
Are you seeing a movement from, let's say, European investors where there's more of an interest now to shift their funds and to look at some of the perhaps higher growth markets that particularly are in Asia? Is that something that you're seeing?
Yes, we have seen that. Our sister company, AEW Capital Management, manages a fund in Asia. And their first fund was almost 100% subscribed by European investors, which we brought. On the other side, we are currently pre-marketing an opportunistic venture whose purpose is to invest in distressed assets in Europe. And what we expect is that a big part of the investors we will get will come from our US client base. So it's really, and I think that applies mainly to added value and opportunistic strategies. If you think about core strategies, it remains a local market, meaning that what we manage core in Europe is mainly invested by core investors in Europe.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and we hope you've had a productive MIPIM, and we hope forward to seeing you here in the future.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.